Greetings, listeners. Welcome to another Halloween episode of the Animates. It'll be frightfully good. Oh,
Hey,
where did I?
Cryptkeeper, Cryptkeeper. Sorry. I don't mean to
What?
cut. Cryptkeeper.
Not enough puns.
Listen. Yeah, well, you're Cryptkeeper. No one can take that away from you. Well, we got some notes from the network, and you do need co-stars by the look of
But it's Tales
it.
from the Cryptkeeper. Do you just want more
Yes.
puns?
Well, we need to sell more toys of more haunted-ish characters. So there's going to be like a doctor now. I think he's like your rival or something. There's also going to be Poochie.
Oh, dear God.
So help me wrap my head around. Is this more? This is more of the same series we watched a couple years ago, correct?
It's that we're still doing the voice. It's I'm going to do the rest of the episode in the Cryptkeeper voice.
Oh my
god. Yes, this is. I think I chose an episode from season 2 and an episode from season 3, which I think was the one that was redubbed the new Tales from the Cryptkeeper or whatever. And
I see.
That was the point where they introduced some like little sidekicks and rivals for him in the wraparound segments.
I wasn't crazy about those. Maybe I'm bearing the lead a little early.
No, I didn't think you don't need him. I think the Cryptkeeper is a versatile enough character that he doesn't need anybody to play off. That's, I think, the charm of him is that he's just talking at the camera. You don't need to see him have a little adventure.
Precisely. It's so I'm guessing, did we watch like just season 1 before when we did this show?
Yes, we had 2 episodes from season 1.
I see. So, and what I like about this format is that there's big structural differences in 2 and in 3. So I think it's interesting that we're covering those as well. With 2 with the co-stars, then in 3 you have Cryptkeeper seeming to almost directly interact with the narrative. At least a little bit, to what I would consider maybe varying degrees of success, but we'll get to that one. We watched more Tales from the Cryptkeeper, caveated by, like I said, some of those structural differences. We started with season 2 episode Uncle Harry's House of Horror.
Uncle Harry's House of, yes, I want to say that was the title. Yeah.
I want to make sure I didn't miss an H in there. I'm sure there's a little more alliteration.
Yeah, featuring King Koopa as Uncle Harry.
Oh, the second he started talking, I could tell it was someone we knew, but I didn't realize. I'm delighted that it was Harvey something.
Harvey Atkin, I think it is.
Harvey Atkin. I almost said Harvey Korman, but I think that's someone else.
Yeah, I had the same thing, and I was like, where do I know that voice from? I've heard it really recently, and I was convinced it was like Edward Asner at some point.
Right.
And then I looked it up and was like, oh, it's King Koopa doing the exact same voice in, like, I could see King Koopa in this scenario. Like he takes one of his kids to
I was going to say. And he gets so many, like, he's being kind of an insufferable jackass, but he's delivering just his, like, zingers so well to every fucking, we don't want to scrape you off the pavement. No way.
There's a great bit where he dismisses every ride at this carnival that he's taken his nephew to. And he's promised to take him on one ride. And every time they see something, the kid is like, oh, wow, let's have a go at this. And one of them is one of those, you shoot a water cannon at a clown and a balloon pops and you get a prize. And he's like, these things are fixed. And the kid wins. And he's like, well, they got to let somebody win sooner or later. And then later on, you just see him talking to his wife and going, I'm telling you, Dorothy, they pay these kids to walk around with those things.
Freaking wonderful.
Just relentless, curmudgeonly uncle.
Oh, completely. Seemingly of like the 50s. They're all dressed like like he looks like he's like about to endure he looks like he's just recovering from the Great Depression with his Wall Street suspenders.
Yeah, he does. It's like his fisherman's hat.
Yeah.
I chose this one because the last episode we watched was the fisherman one, and that also had a wacky uncle. And I thought, well, we can't go wrong with a wacky uncle in a Tales from the Cryptkeeper episode. Let's see what this one has to offer. And he's a much nicer person.
Oh, yes.
Than the insane.
This is a wacky uncle. I feel like the fisherman uncle was like a fucking lunatic, honestly.
He was just a psychopath. And this guy just frowns upon fun fairs. That's his only flaw, really.
Honestly, he's right. Let's be real.
They are a con, and there is a lot of con men. Lots of shenanigans there.
He's like, talk about a roller coaster, and he's like, they put these things up overnight. And I'm like, yeah, they do.
There's some flagrant health and safety violations going on there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it twice. I told the kid he gets one ride, and then we go home. No way. Your Aunt Dorothy and I are not about to peel you off the pavement. Everyone knows they just slap those things up overnight. All it takes is one loose bolt and splat. The fun house. What's fun about walking into walls and mirrors? You can do that at our house.
So, and this one surrounds. Eventually, they finally settle on a rail-bound haunted house ride, which gradually turns out to be ostensibly lesser ride than initially thought. As Uncle Marty? Was that his name?
Uncle Harry.
Uncle Harry. Uncle Harry, and I think Aunt Dorothy. I almost want to call her Aunt Zelda for some reason. I think I was just so ingrained in the 50s. And Harry and Dorothy's a good 50s couple, but for some reason Marty and Zelda got my
Marty and Zelda.
I wonder if that's a thing from something else. Man, so gradually things in the ride like seem to be real and chip away at his facade as he's like, no, it's all wax, it's fake. And then like eventually a zombie reaches out to grab him and he's like, oh no, and he's like genuinely traumatized.
Like when he just grabs like a real bat. They put these things on strings so close you'll have your eye out. He's just like holding what I assume was a real bat in his hand.
Right.
Later, Uncle Harry died from rabies.
Rest in peace, Uncle Harry. Too much fun.
Aunt Dorothy sued the fun fair after his death. It's what he would have wanted.
They do some cool foreshadowing in this one. Before they enter the haunted house, Aunt Dorothy enters like a fortune teller. And after they exit the haunted house, she shows that her fortune says something like, enjoyment from one's life is only belied by their imagination. And that's just like a very cool like twist of the supernatural that kind of helps. Because I always expect these to be like, oh, these are like the half-assed Tales of the Crypt, maybe in terms of writing. But they actually tend to like thread the needle pretty well in like how they do set things up early on and then follow through in a really cool way. And I think that one excels in this pretty well.
I think they're pretty. It's exactly what you would expect from a Tales from the Crypt for kids, I think.
Absolutely.
But they make it work. Like they're still creepy, but they don't go too far with it, and it still retains that sense of humor. And it's like, well, what would the kids enjoy that's not too scary? Yeah, it works.
Look, Uncle Harry, look! You'll never believe it!
No need right to be afraid, Jeremy. Well, what's the worst that could happen?
Big, gross, big, dead guys headed straight for us!
That would have to be it.
No way! Are they wax too? Are they? Wow! Wow! He looks great, doesn't he?
Jeremy! No! Kind of reminds me of your aunt in the morning. Whoa! What?
Uncle Harry! The sign said to remain in your seat at all times.
Ah!
Oh, it's over!
Huh? We made it? We made it! We made it!
Cool! Wow! I wonder how we're gonna get past that! What do you think, Uncle Harry?
I think we're done for. We've had it and there's no way out. Poor Jeremy, you're so young, we'll never see Dorothy again and we'll never get out of this alive!
I think like the perfect like line that they don't cross is that like the scariest thing that happens is the zombie tries to pull Harry off the ride, because that's like kind of scary to think about fully if you're an adult. Like it's more the implication, but it's not like directly traumatizing on the screen. And I think it strikes that perfect balance pretty well.
There's a great line where the kid goes like, "Where are we, Uncle Harry?" And he just goes, "Near the end, I hope."
I love the axe is swinging in front of the door and he starts just like, "We're doomed. You're so young, kiddo."
Yeah, we're gonna die. And then when he comes out the other side, he's just got like this 1,000-yard stare and like traumatized expression.
And then it has a wholesome ending where it turns out he had fun and he's willing to have fun with his nephew and not be so grumpy. And it all works out.
Yeah, he has a much better fate than the previous uncle character,
Oh,
who was shoved into a can.
I liked this guy enough that I didn't want something too bad to happen to him. So
he was very likable, I think.
yeah.
You know, he's not like mistreating the kid. He's just he's got his circus conspiracy theories that he's throwing everywhere. But he's not a bad
skeptical
person.
of carnies, which maybe we all should be.
Maybe we all should be. Not that I have anything against carnival folk, if any of them are listening.
Only two things scare me, and one is nuclear war.
What's the other?
Excuse me?
What's the other thing that scares you?
Carnies.
What?
Circus folk. Nomads, you know. Smell like cabbage. Small hands.
Does that take us to It's For You, the second episode we watched?
It's for you. Yes.
It's ostensibly kind of another Christmas special, a little bit. It's tinged that way a bit.
Yes, we accidentally watched a Christmas episode for our Halloween special. Who would have thought Tales from the Crypt would have a Christmas episode? But it kind of is, yeah.
This young man, I think I'm probably going to do the wrong generic old school name again. I think he's Randy.
I have no idea what he's called. Randy was the name of the kid from the fish episode. I remember that for some reason.
Good heavens. Man, where was I? Sorry, I'm just losing my train of thought. He gets a phone for Christmas.
Yes.
And this is before cell phones. So it's ostensibly, it's a big deal. Oh, you get your own line in the house. So I'm so far removed from this era that I'm not entirely sure how that works out. But
it was very exciting when you had your own line in the house. I don't think many people had it though, because you had to set up a separate line. And we never had one in my house, but I do remember my friend had like a separate line in his parents' bedroom. And like if you picked up the phone downstairs, it was the same line, and you could basically listen in on people's conversations.
Oh,
so when they said to that kid, "It's your own line," I think that was a lie. I don't think. I think it would have cost considerable money to set up an extra line in those days, and I just think they made that up to make you feel better.
Quite possibly, yeah. So they just gave him a brick cell phone, called it a day, and lied.
Yeah. His friend is really impressed by this and calls him a lucky slob, which strange expression, I thought, but there you go.
Oh man, you lucky piece of shit.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to say.
Look what I just posted. Brunch with these two dum-dums.
Oh my gosh, so good. Is this good? I said Sunday fun day with these idiots.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. So cute.
Okay, so cute. Look what I just posted. Eating crap with these sacks of shit. If they died tomorrow, no one would shed a tear. So cute.
They do stress, though, when they get him the phone, don't you be doing any of those prank calls or we'll take that phone off you. And he's like, I won't.
Then of course he does.
He does. He does it to the entire fucking town, apparently, because including
to the chagrin seemingly of the Crypt Keeper, who's like masquerading as a poodle-haired phone operator, telecommuter, plug in and unplugging those little wires.
I love when he gets an outfit. I love that he's just he's in drag in this one.
Yeah,
it's great.
It works. What's a little strange is that it's not like and I'm assuming the rest of the season is like this, unless maybe it's a Christmas episode thing, is that the Crypt Keeper isn't the framing device of this one. He appears and comments and is separated from the story, but at least ostensibly he seems to be able to tamper with the characters directly.
Not now, George.
Yeah, I heard you had some problems with your tables.
Go to hell, George, you fucking pig!
You don't know how to treat the customer. You don't know how to treat the Crypt Keeper.
Come on, go!
And kind of like, because is it implied that he uses his big phone operator to connect him with the challenges he comes up to? I don't want to bury the lead.
Sort of, yeah. From the end of the episode seems to imply he had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was, and I feel that does add a layer of security, because I don't think Crypt Keeper is gonna like kill anyone. I kind of like him more as a separate observer as to whatever may happen, but after getting to know him, I almost feel like him being involved implicates the fate a bit too much. But perhaps I'm delving in entirely too far, and maybe that's...
I think you're right, yeah. I think it's such a detachment from his usual role as just guy in the background trying to tell you a story whose, story might not even be true. And then in this one, he's actively getting involved. Not massively so, but he's there and he exists in this universe. And that's a different concept to what the Crypt Keeper usually is, which is just a guy in a crypt who's got a big book that he reads just the story to you from. So it's an interesting twist. I kind of like it, but I don't know if it was like every episode. I don't know. I guess it works for the cartoon, I think, to a certain extent. But yeah, him being more and more involved in the plots, I don't know. It makes me a bit uneasy. I don't know why, but it does.
I'm glad that Gary is making amends for what he did. Otherwise, he'd have wound up paying for all those calls with his afterlife. So let this be a lesson to all of you telepranksters out there. Don't call us, or we'll call you. That's our gripping yarn for today, boils and ghouls. So remember, creep out of trouble because I'll be watching. Huh? Emma, stop it! You're tying up the lines. Emma!
Yeah. And I guess what confused me more is, I guess I'll reveal what he's going through, is that after making many, many prank calls, his karma comes to him in form of a mysterious, creepy sounding being constantly calling him to the point of like harassing him basically. And the voice over the phone almost sounded to me like Crypt Keeper. but it turns out it's not. It might be the same voice actor, maybe.
Possibly, yeah. Is it Charlie is the name of the kid? Because she keeps saying Charlie, doesn't she? Charlie.
Maybe it is Charlie. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, yeah, sorry. We do get a really nice creepy reveal that's like this scary old lady who he finally but this is another that like I think is mostly scary in implication, which I think is a good place for the show to thrive. Because when you think about it's not on screen terrifying. Kids will watch this and be fine. But it's almost like with a grown-up sensibility, if you think about getting phone calls like that from wherever you go, he unplugs his phone and goes to the mall, and his friend like hands him a phone with like that voice on the line. I think that's actually a pretty scary idea. But kind of like last time, it's nothing that like would send a kid screaming out of the room or anything.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I thought it was going to be. I thought the twist was going to be that it was just an old lady, and this would have a wholesome ending, and that the old lady just wanted to talk to someone. And it was going to be like he thought she was a ghost, but she wasn't, and she genuinely just wanted to have a conversation with someone because she was lonely.
Yeah.
But no, she is a ghost, and she's going to kill him, and that's what happened at the end. She's just like tying him up, which leads to my favorite character in this episode, the mailman who tries to deliver a parcel, and he's just like, I'm sorry about this, but it's got insufficient postage. And then he sees what's going on inside. He's like, yep, I'm done. And he just disappears into the night and just leaves this kid to his fate.
Hello? It's the mailman. Anybody home? Someone sent a package from this address, but I'm afraid it has insufficient postage. I'm in here.
Leave it and go.
That's the last time I'm gonna volunteer for this route.
I want to give similar honorable mention to the Taco Bell worker at the mall who, after, he unplugs his phone, he's like, I'm going to go to the mall and get away from all this. And this clerk at a Taco Bell gets a phone call and he's like, it's for you, Randy. I told you not to give people this number, as if that was like a thing that was going on. Just giving my friend a local mall Taco Bell phone number for some reason.
Just wreaking havoc in the phone lines across the entire town, harassing that poor pregnant woman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, she's not pregnant, but she's got like a newborn child, and he keeps ringing her when the kid's trying to get to sleep. But like, you asshole.
She seems like so distressed, too. She's like... She almost seems like she's like in hiding.
Yeah, yes.
Which it's stressful to have a newborn. I don't blame her, but they play up the drama so impactfully.
They do. Well, I guess it's the other kid is like, maybe we should stop, and he's like, why? It's funny. I just kept expecting like a Bart and Mo situation where eventually he gets to like just like this unhinged, like the uncle from the fish episode answers the phone and like threatens to kill him or something. You little puke, I'm gonna hunt you down and scoop out your lungs with an ice pick. I'm gonna shove you in a can of tuna, you little bastard.
Oh man.
Just rings up the giant fish from that episode. Excuse me. Do you have a human in a can? You should never fish more than you can. Goodbye.
He kind of butchers a few like classic jokes as well. Like he says, he calls someone and goes, do you have Prince Albert in a can? They say yes. And he goes, well, he'll suffocate if you don't let him out. And they're like, too many words, man.
Yeah. You've bungled the delivery of that.
Yeah.
His worst crime. But yeah, he defeats the ghost lady, and then there's a funny little bit with the Cryptkeeper at the end where he's trying to do his wraparound segment, and the ghost is like in his phone lines, and he's like, "Hey, you're messing up the lines," and he's trying to press all the buttons to get her out of it.
Oh, well, he gets a lot of. We didn't cover much his like rivals in this one, but there's like a doctor,
There's the Vault Keeper, who is the doctor guy, and I can't remember what the witch is called. But yeah, is his nemesis apparently.
Cryptkeeper humiliates them as he kind of should, and I kind of take him or leave him.
Yeah, you don't need him. I don't mind the idea of him having kind of a rival, but the design for the Vault Keeper is pretty uninspired. Like, I feel like you need, if you're going to have a Crypt Keeper nemesis, you need him to be the antithesis of the Crypt Keeper. So I don't know. I feel like you need some sort of really like cultured, boring character who's really sort of straight laced.
Well, my head keeps going to Elvira. If they ever, I feel like we've joked about them crossing over because they're both like framing host characters. Have they ever met?
I know there's like, I don't know if they've ever crossed it. I know there's a photo shoot they did together where they're both sitting in chairs and they're like holding hands like they're a married couple or something. But I don't know if they've ever been on screen together or anything. I'll have to look into that.
It's that gal in the flesh, and not much else, Elvira. Welcome to the Fox Coors Light Halloween Dash. Look for me wherever you buy Coors Light and find out how you can win classic horror films. Click or treat. Now here's our favorite fiend with all the behind-the-scenes Halloween highlights. The Crypt Keeper.
Greetings, kitties. We kick off our Halloween celebration with the sci-fi spooktacular Alien Nation Dark Horizon. Plus later, some twisted fun from your favorite Fox stars at Universal Studios Florida. So stay tuned.
Well, what did you think of these two? Did you enjoy them as much as the last two? Or
I think the fish one still just has the peak creepy factor. And I still think back to like the weird pop culture impact of the dream one with the guy and the girl with like Godan and all that
Mr.
wacky
Purdy.
stuff. Sorry?
Mr. Purdy. I just remember.
Mr. Purdy, that was
Mr.
it.
Purdy. I think it's telling that these are one-off random characters and we remember a lot of them despite like we watched that special 2 years ago and we still remember a psychotic fish-hating uncle, Mr. Purdy. And I imagine like Uncle Harry will be added to that lexicon.
He's absolutely up there. We couldn't remember the name of the boy in the phone one, sadly.
Yeah, I want to say Charlie, but I couldn't tell you that with any degree of confidence.
Is there kind of an art shift in season 3 as well?
Yeah, they definitely shift towards a more sort of stylized, angular look.
Which I kind of like. Yeah, it doesn't suit like the vintage comic booky feel of like the older episodes, and that's kind of a bummer change if you ask me.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, it doesn't look as good as that first style. I guess maybe it's like a cheaper style, and maybe they wanted something a bit more modern for their revamp of the show, but it's not quite the same. It doesn't look as creepy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and art shit. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think something more stylized is probably called for, but it comes off as a bit bright and a bit, not quite. In some paradoxically, it's more stylized, but that familiar kind of realistically proportioned style just harkened back to the comics these are based on so well. That I think it missed a big part of its identity without it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of another Halloween Animate Special. Join us at the end of the month, where we will watch the frighteningly good, what was it again? Where are my props? Where's my desk? Everything has gone. What? Where is the budget? Oh no. Who, where is everyone? There's no cameras rolling. Oh no.